Hello, this is a story about somebody called Barabbas, and here he is looking out of his window. Hope you can recognise him. Oh, well, you can't recognise him, he hasn't got his head on. Let's just give him a head. There we go. And Barabbas was looking out of his window. It was a lovely day, the sun was shining, the birds were singing, and he really wanted to go outside, but he couldn't. And he just wasn't allowed to, not because of the coronavirus, but he wasn't allowed to go outside because of this. Yep, he was in jail, and so he wasn't allowed to go outside. He didn't know very much about Barabbas before this, but he must have been sort of quite naughty as a child. I'm guessing he must have been sort of lying and stealing and cheating. He probably started off telling little white lies, and then the lies got bigger and bigger and bigger. And he probably started off sort of cheating and stealing stuff. He probably started taking sweets and biscuits, and they got sort of more and more until eventually he ended up robbing a bank. He probably started calling people names and then ended up being a bully. But we do know that he must have killed somebody, because he ended up by being put into prison, condemned to be put to death. And there he was in prison, and he wasn't very happy. It was really horrible. It was a lovely day outside. Inside it was dark, and it was really cold. It was smelly. There were rats. The food wasn't very good, and he was feeling really sorry for himself. And he was like, "Oh, I wish I hadn't been so horrible and so nasty. I wish I hadn't upset so many people. I've got no friends and nobody loves me. Oh, I wish I could start all over again and I wouldn't do all that." And then suddenly he heard outside, well, lots and lots of noise. So he kind of went over to the window, looked out of the window, and there, outside, was a huge crowd of people gathering. Just give them some heads so we can see. There we go, give them some arms. And some feet. And as he listened, all the people began to call out, and they started calling, "Barabbas! Barabbas! Barabbas!" Barabbas thought, oh, they're calling for me. Maybe I have got some friends after all. That maybe they've come to rescue me and get me out of here. Oh, that's brilliant. And then the kind of noise changed, and they started to shout, "Crucify him! Crucify him!" Oh my goodness, thought Barabbas, oh no. And then he heard another noise. There was a left, right, left, right, left, right, left, halt! And then outside the door there was a rattling of the keys as the guards arrived. The door came open. The guard came in and he said, "Barabbas, you horrible little man, get up right now, the governor wants to see you." And so they marched Barabbas out down the passageway up into the fortress, and he came in front of the governor. And Barabbas said, "Oh, please sir, I'm really sorry for all the wrong things I've done. Please, will you just forgive me? I won't ever do anything wrong and horrible again." "Be quiet, Barabbas, you horrible little man, because you are going to go free now. Get out of here. I don't want to see you back in my jail again." "No, sir, that's absolutely fine. So just send me back to my cell, and I'll clean everybody's boots of all the soldiers. I'll clean all the spuds, and sorry, what did you say? I can go free? Wow, that's brilliant." And you know, he ran out of the door as fast as his legs could carry him. I mean, we don't really know what happened exactly next, but I can kind of guess what probably happened, because when he got outside with all the crowd of people, I'm guessing that he would have joined in with the story as it kind of continued to unfold. You see, all the people began to walk up the hill. So they went through the gates, up to the top of the hill. Better give these guys some heads. And I imagine Barabbas would have joined the rest of the people. And when they got to the top of the hill, he heard three big And then screams of pain, and suddenly there was a great big cross raised up with a criminal pinned to the cross. Someone that Barabbas, I'm guessing, would have looked at and thought, "Oh, I know him, yeah, he deserves to be up there." And then there was another, and more screaming, and another cross was just hoisted up. And again, Barabbas would have looked at him and seen him and think, "Yeah, I know that criminal as well. He deserves to die as well." And then another cross was raised up right in the middle. But when Barabbas looked at this one, he didn't recognise who it was. So he asked one of the soldiers and said, "Excuse me, but who's that? I don't recognise that one." And the soldier said, "Well, where have you been for the last 6 weeks?" Well, Barabbas wasn't going to tell him where 6 weeks. He said, "That's Jesus. He's been, some say that he's actually the Son of God, and he's come from God, and he's telling everybody about God, and he's been healing people and doing miracles and doing amazing things." But the chief priests, well, they didn't like him and they were jealous. And so they bribed all the mob to ask when that time of year where we release one prisoner, and they bribed them to ask him and to release Barabbas, who was a horrible sort of thief and a murderer who deserved to be up there. And Barabbas, I'm guessing, as he stood there, would have looked up at Jesus, and he probably thought this. This is the clever bit, remember. This is where we take a black paintbrush and we get yellow letters. So he died for me. And that's the story of Easter. But you see, Barabbas didn't just die. Jesus didn't just die for. Now, I was never as bad as Barabbas. But when I was young, and I knew that I'd done lots of wrong things, but never anything really, really bad. But I knew I'd done lots of wrong things, and I could have heard that Jesus had died for me, because the Bible tells us that when Jesus was punished on the cross, put to death, not because he'd done anything wrong, but for all the wrong things that we all do and say and think. And if anybody wants to, the Bible says that we can come to God in a prayer, say that we're sorry, and that he will forgive us. And so when I heard that story, when I heard the Easter story, I decided this. I decided that I was going to live for him. But I was going to live for God. And that's why I go around schools and other places telling people the stories of Jesus. But that isn't the entire Christmas story. That isn't the entire Easter story. You see, the Bible goes on and says that 3 days later, Jesus came back to life. 6 weeks after that, he went back to be with God in heaven. And because Jesus has gone back to be with God in heaven, the Bible promises that anybody, as I said, can come to him in their prayers, say that they're sorry, and he will forgive us. And the best thing of all is that we can be God's friend forever and ever and ever.